Welcome back to another edition of the Higher Genius podcast. I'm your host, Christy Turley, and we are in the final episode of this series, all about how to uplevel or the stages of an uplevel. So if you missed any of the previous episodes, I recommend that you go right back to the beginning of this series, which starts off with an overview or my own reinvention story and how I went through all these steps. And then I will be taking you through each of the 4 steps. Now, this is the 4th and final step of our little butterfly allegory that we have going on. And this is the step where the butterfly is ready to emerge. But first, there's a struggle to break out of the cocoon. It must use its new wings and its legs to break it open. And this struggle is what gives the butterfly strength in its wings to fly when it's time to fly. Without this struggle of breaking out of the cocoon, the butterfly will not have the strength to fly. So remember, there is a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of a conflict to break out of the cocoon. And that is necessary. So think of that as an initiation into being a butterfly. So once it's free, once it's gotten out of the cocoon, it still can't fly. Did you know that? It has to wait for its wings to dry. So this can be a period of vulnerability because it finally has the strength to emerge, but it has to still wait for a period. And after the wings are all dry, it can spread its wings and soar to new heights. And I named this rejoice because joy is kind of like, and if you look up the etymology of the word, it's key to this word. And it's all about enjoying life and rejoicing in its new form, function, and purpose. And the butterfly also has a new diet, which means that the things that appeal to the caterpillar is not going to appeal to the butterfly. So instead of eating leaves, it eats flower nectar. And so it really does represent a whole new level of being in every area of life. So before we dive in to the emotions that are felt and all the other common missteps and how to uplevel, if you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you're listening to this on a podcast app, click subscribe. Okay, so let's dive in. So the emotions that you can feel when breaking out of the cocoon, you can experience feelings of wanting to hide or fear of being seen. You may experience cognitive dissonance. Like, is this really me now? Cognitive dissonance is something that our brains do when we get new information that doesn't match up with the current information. So, of course, you've got this new form, this new way of being, and it still may feel very unfamiliar to you. So the cognitive dissonance kicks in. And this can also feel like you're being kicked back to step 2 again, that realign and rebirth stage. So just know that is totally normal to have the occasional relapse, but you truly are in this rejoice stage now. So you can doubt yourself big time. And you may struggle to stay optimistic and even to dream. But once out of the cocoon, enthusiasm is huge. You've opened the floodgates. You have this newfound freedom. You are liberated. So how did you get here? You got here by trusting your ahas and your knowing and finding your inner magic and realigning to your superpowers. And now you're able to articulate your message and your brand and your business in a way that others can understand in this new way of being. You've owned your full power and you know who you are. You may have days that you're not owning your full power. And you may have days where you feel like, do I really know who I am? That's okay. You'll get there. You may still have to dry out your wings. You may have to wait a little bit until you're ready to take the plunge and soar. And also, you got here by reinventing parts of yourself and your business and career to be aligned to your true self and your higher purpose. Now, if you don't really know what I mean by alignment, I suggest you go back and listen to episode 42, where I talk about alignment. And it's a great episode that I think you'll truly, truly love. So the common missteps made here. I mean, this is all rainbows and unicorns. How could there be any missteps, right? No, there are some missteps you can make. So one that I've seen a lot is not enjoying and rejoicing, meaning not enjoying your new abundance, not rejoicing and celebrating your successes. You can start looking backwards or start looking forwards instead of being in the moment and being fully present. You could be entertaining too many potential collaborations and opportunities because, after all, everything's climbing out of the woodwork for you now. Your light is shining bright and many people are attracted to you. But guess what? Light attracts butterflies and moths. And I know we're inside of a butterfly allegory and it doesn't really make sense, but it doesn't mean that just because they're attracted to your light, it doesn't mean that they're a fellow butterfly. They could be a moth. So you want to make sure that they're in alignment with you, that you can truly collaborate with them. Another misstep here is not remembering the self-care that you learned in previous steps and working too much and becoming a workaholic again. This season is very akin to the summer season. And so this is a time to also just enjoy. Summer is a time for enjoying. So the other thing you can do is you can work so much that you neglect your family or other areas of your life. You can be too busy and you can possibly, let go of some of those self-care practices that served you so well. If anything, your self-care needs to be a good recharge station for all the activity that you're going to be in. So don't forget to rest and take care of yourself. And you can also feel frustrated at other areas of your life that are not flowing or that are slowing down. So, it's interesting to note that while we could be in this stage ourselves, our business could be in a different phase. Our family could be in a different phase. And so it can be a little bit of a balancing act if you feel like all of a sudden you and your business are raring to go, but maybe other areas of your life aren't aligning anymore to you, or they're slowing down or pulling away. And that's totally normal. So, in every episode of this series, I've shared a personal story from this time, but this episode, this is where I am now. I really don't have that many stories to share. You'll be watching them unfold in real time on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you follow me. And this is what I'll be doing. I'll be sharing these stories as well as sharing stories from the past too, because not everyone's in the same phase. So some constructive business actions that you can take when you're in this phase is tweak and execute on your very aligned marketing plan. Create more systems to sustain the growth. Did you know, of course you will know this once I point it out to you, but you know that a plant can't grow taller without a proper root system. A tree can't grow taller without a proper root system and trunk and something to hold all of its weight and bear all of its weight. The same thing goes for your business. So start creating more systems and structures so that it can sustain the rapid growth that you'll be in this phase. So you're going to want to hire team members. You're going to have to look at your structure, your systems. You can be making more offers and sales, booking more speaking and podcast opportunities, expanding your audience, holding your mind open, releasing any fear of criticism or fear of judgment. And just thrust yourself in that light, into that limelight or that bigger stage, and continue to expand your light, your self-mastery, and your gifts. You're going to be manifesting greater abundance now. You're going to be in a better position to change the world around you, including the world at large. I love this quote. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has. And that's by Margaret Mead. And so the perfect song, the perfect jam for this stage is Back in Black by AC/DC. And if you would like to continue to expand your gifts and expand your strengths and even meet some people that could potentially have opportunities for you for speaking and podcasts, I invite you to go get on the wait list for Intuition Upgrade, where you'll be meeting and working and growing with a lot of other intuitive entrepreneurs. The wait list is at intuitionupgrade.com. And if that's not the thing for you, get a copy of my book. It's called The Intuition-Led Business. It's on Amazon, and you can also get some awesome bonuses, including a mini class and some other goodies at intuitionledbusiness.com. Now, before we go, I have some final words. Keep in mind that these cycles repeat. Life is one big cycle, and I'm a believer that if you looked at life as a whole, from pregnancy, birth, young kid, teenage years, adulthood, and then finally as seniors, you'll see that you're in one big cycle as of now. You're somewhere in that continuum. But at the same time, we have repeating cycles in our life, and every area of our life could be on a different cycle. Our relationship could be in a different cycle. Our business could be in a different cycle. So life is one big cycle, and it has a lot of small cycles. And life is not a destination. It's all about these cycles. It's all about the journey. And no matter what stage of the cycle that you find yourself in, you can still have joy. You can still find the blessings. You can find opportunities. You can find happiness. And so depending on how closely aligned you are to your true self, and again, your true self is not the one that other people project upon you or expect from you. This is your true divine essence, not the one with all the layers of projections and expectations on top. It's the true essence. When you can closely align, I feel like these steps go by so much easier and with more joy. And again, if you want to learn more about alignment, go to episode 42. And if you need help with any of these stages, I would love to do that. I offer one-on-one work with people, a variety of different packages and different modalities. So check out my website, christyturley.com. I'll leave the link in the show notes. And I just would love to support you in any way that you feel aligned with this transformation into your authentic self and aligning with your purpose. So I feel really grateful that I was able to roadmap this out as I was going through it, and also identify the patterns of my clients that were going through it. It kind of seemed like a client would show up and they were going through the exact last step that I had just been through. So I feel like I was able to gather a lot of data and notice a lot of trends. So I hope you really enjoyed this series. And again, if you would be willing to, I would love to receive a review on whatever podcast app you're on. That helps me reach other intuitive entrepreneurs like you. And then go check out my YouTube. I'm currently building out that channel and growing subscribers, and I would love to see you there as well. All right, take care and see you next time on the Higher Genius podcast. I hope you loved today's episode. And if you did, please subscribe and leave a like, comment, and/or review. Every interaction, whether on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform, helps this podcast to reach more people like you. Thank you for tuning in to the Higher Genius podcast.